Felt like you guys were pretty aggressive early in counts. Was that just a matchup thing or anything that kind of led to that?
I think it was a boiling over of maybe the weekend and also just a mindset between the end of the game Sunday and the start of the game. I mean, there's different choices you got to make, and there's some recovery time, and there's also preparation time, and the vibe was as good as it can get before the game. I mean, I'm sure you guys will ask about this weekend. I'll come back to that. I mean, I think last Friday was the best we've had all year for what that's worth. But yeah, I mean, in order to be productive on offense, you got to be the aggressor. And there are times where you take a hit by pitch, or you lay off pitches and you walk, or the other team might make an error. But it all starts with being aggressive on offense. You want to do it on defense too if you're talking about throwing strikes. But I think guys had the mentality, and it bled into the physicality of guys getting after pitches that were hittable early.
What do you think that swing from Reese can do for him, and maybe what does he need to do to build off of that going forward?
Yeah, I think just calm. I don't want to say nerves at this point. I haven't really seen any of that from him. There's just a lot of try hard, so he's out in front of balls, and that one allows him to revisit the fact he's strong enough to launch the ball out of the park even when he doesn't put a lot of effort into his swing. He can do it to big parts of the ballpark, and then also he's at his best when he's in the middle of the field. As far as attacking the baseball goes. So, it wasn't a great end to the series, but also took really good swings off Dutton, who's arguably their best pitcher if we're going to look in the rearview mirror. So, I think, keep it simple. There's nothing crazy going on there, but, a nice confidence booster for him, which, like it or not, these kids every now and then need results for permission to feel good about themselves, even though that's not the case. And, it'd be nice if they remember that they don't always, get those and don't always need those to realize that they're capable of doing great things.
The lineup tweaks 2 through 5, is that just kind of playing around with midweek, or is that could potentially
No, I think
stay?
that was kind of what we were going to do a couple weeks ago. We went with the other kind of option we laid out. That's been fine, but it's not ideal. So I think this is a good option. And then also probably something I'll visit with them on tomorrow. We don't have the team where you lay it out and or you guys could write it without asking me what it is. It's not that type of group. That doesn't mean it's better or worse. It just means it's not that type of group. And I think if everybody's prepared and also on board with whatever they're asked to do, it could actually mean better, because you got a guy that can play right and then second, and a guy that can play left and then third, and a few guys that can catch. Levi did a really good job tonight. So there's options, and we want to use them to the best of our ability. And I think at this point the guys all realize it's kind of a team effort on the offensive end.
Talked about mindset the last 2 days and being the aggressor offensively. Is there anything that led to that, or was that just kind of a natural response from the players?
I think it was a frustrating weekend. I mean, for obvious reasons. So you can let that weigh you down, or you can use it to lift you up. I think they chose wisely the last couple days.
Is there aspects of that game or last series mentally that can prepare you for a big rivalry game like Vanderbilt?
I mean, they're all rivalries on the weekend. We played down in Baton Rouge, and like it or not, one of the more storied programs in the history of college baseball, and it was their biggest ever crowd and most expensive tickets. So whether it's Manny or Stone or Levi, or Gavin's new to the league, or Arv, who was in the league and then in junior college, and I don't know what else you need. I mean, in Oxford, they wanted to punch 2 of our guys, and in Baton Rouge, that went on. And then now with, the opposing team has to deal, well, that's a sensitive topic, but the opposing team, for the most part, deals with what we deal with too. But by now, we've kind of seen everything with rain delays, and it's been a different wind at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, and different types of crowds we've had. We've kind of seen it all. So I think the thing we need to do is just kind of realize they need to realize what's the best version of them and try and utilize it. Like I said, last Friday we didn't get to find out what would have happened because of the weather, but that's the most ready I've seen a team in a while, with just the way they were acting and the swings. And I wasn't the only one coach that said it too. So it'd be nice to have the next 3 days, lay them out as best as possible preparation-wise, and then just see what you get on a Friday.
You talked about just not being the kind of team where you just everybody knows every day what the role is going to be. How much more does that put on your plate as a staff? Like for all that, like time during the day, you're thinking about stuff.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's kind of fun. You like organizing stuff and coming up with different ideas and have friendly debates and things like that. I think if anything, like on a situation like tonight, you don't want somebody to get left without an at-bat or an appearance that you wanted, or you kind of want to spread the jam on the toast evenly, but that's not going to work out either. So, yeah, at the end of the day, you just want everybody to be excited for the team to play and excited for the team if we win, and then the rest is just kind of detail. So I don't see that as a big thing, and I think it's a cop-out too. I've coached a guy a long time ago that wanted to, cry in his Wheaties every day. He was at a new position or that. You don't want to play, go home. I would have killed to play. I had to sit there and watch. So regardless of where you're at or what inning you go in and stuff like that, these kids are pretty blessed. Heck, they're blessed with just the food they're getting delivered right now for post-game spread.
Coach, how reassuring is it to have a guy like Gavin Keelan back in the lineup, and given how he's played, especially that swing tonight, the timing looks great. How much better does that make you feel about your chances at a trip to Omaha this year?
I think, as far as Gavin goes, it's a carryover from what we were just talking about. It's good that he's taken the responsibility of moving to a different position and just playing ball. It's more simple than you think. And they've all had reps at, all those positions. He's played that position a bunch for his life. So I just feel good about him accepting, hey, we move you up a slot, move you to a different position, just continue to play ball. And he's not a guy that's going to lead to where you guys notice. Every now and then he'll put a bug in one of our guys' ear and say you're not doing it the way you need to. But more than anything, he'll lead by example. Plays with a little bit of chip on his shoulder, but keeps it simple. He's just a ball player. So hopefully guys on the defensive end and offensive end can take note and follow that lead.
What stands out about Vanderbilt?
Don't know a ton other than good amount of returning players, a couple incomers that are young that were always kind of on the circuit where you saw them doing all the popular stuff where the best players get invited to and they're fully capable of getting innings and being productive as freshmen in the league, kind of like some of our guys know some of their younger guys. So we'll take a look, see what we got, and probably what we got is another SEC team, which means they'll be organized, they'll be well coached, they'll compete, and they'll challenge us to play our best ball over the course of 3 days. But again, for me, I was telling John, I just kind of would like to play a Friday, and I'm not complaining like, hey, we need to play better in certain situations, all that stuff. But it'd be nice to play at the scheduled 5:30 time with relatively normal weather and the normal Lindsey Nelson Stadium crowd, and let our guys prepare the way they did for 2.5 days, like they did last week, and let it play out, see where we're at. Feel better about making an assessment from that.
You're good. Today.
I'm rambling.
A couple years ago, the way that things at times did not maybe go the way y'all wanted them to go, and then it just kind of clicked when it did. Is that the kind of thing? It's not just been y'all; it's been all kinds of teams in college baseball that have done that. Is that the kind of thing that kind of keeps a little bug of optimism in your at this time of year? Like, hey, this could all change quickly.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, somebody will go bananas. I don't think there's a whole lot that needs to change. John pinned me down on the radio, and if you could change one thing, what would it be? I think at this point we need to make sure we're putting the pitchers in the right situation. We've got a good staff. It was a staff that was ranked high for whatever reason. There's ability there. We need to put those guys in a good position to succeed. And when those guys get the ball, even if it's out of the norm or out of their comfort zone, they need to just execute who they are. And then the only other thing, defense, base running, you're never going to be perfect, but the hitter's mentality, they need to understand that they don't need to go up there and save the day every at bat. We need a different mentality each day, or an improved mentality. But other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot that needs to change. I'd like to go back and flip a couple games to where we win them, like I've said 2 or 3 times with you, and you're not asking that question. So, but I get what you're saying. I think the moments in time that'll live on forever were a result of guys just continuing to compete regardless of what's going on. And then the teams, like you said, where it's not perfect and then it kind of comes together at the right time, those are teams that stay positive and stick with their routines and don't try and reinvent the wheel as far as what they're trying to do.
everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks.